What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. It's a little hot out today, but doesn't really stop me from working on the car or making these videos. So as you can probably already tell by the title of the video, I'm replacing the ball joints on the Lexus IS350 today. So when I lowered the car with the coilovers a little over a year and a half ago now, I dropped about an inch from stock height. But what I didn't know at the time is that it messes with your camber, and over time you get that inside tire wear. And also I'm getting that clunking sound now, which is another really good indicator that it's time for new ball joints. So I will be replacing the upper ball joints, and I actually found some adjustable ball joints online that are supposed to help with the camber issue for the inside tire wear on the when you lower your car. So without further ado, let's get started. First things first, you want to make sure you jack up your car if you don't have the shop safely and securely and on jack stands. Already got mine jacked up and with the wheel off. Here's mine with the jack stand right there. I use that little, well, it's not really little, it's a big bolt all the way this on there, right next to the lower control arm. And there's a upper control arm with the upper ball joint connected to a knuckle, as well as my wheel already off. So the first thing you're going to want to do is remove this cotter pin right here, but it's not your usual cotter pin. It's different than other ones, so I'll just show you. It's just best if I show you how to take it off. Like that, and that's what it looks like. Make sure not to lose that. Next is removing this castle nut, and this is a 17mm head bolt. And now we got our knuckle, or our ball joint out of the knuckle. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate next how to remove the ball joint from the knuckle, and this is actually the one from the other side that I did the day before. I'll show you how to do that, and then I'll show you how to do it on the car as well. So this little rubber boot, this, I guess you would say, spring right here, holds the rubber boot in place right here. So what you would do is you take a screwdriver flathead, and then you just kind of scoop it out like that, and then just pry it out, and it comes off like that, along with the boot. And then next is this retaining clip, which is holding the ball joint onto the upper control arm. So pretend your upper control arm is right here. So your ball joint is sitting like this. And what you do is you get yourself your snap ring pliers, and I'm just gonna flip this upside down for demonstration. And you see this right here, you put it in between here like this. So you spread that clip apart like that with the snap ring pliers, and then you have to come up, you have to come around the other side with another flathead screwdriver and pry it out like that. And this is a little harder when it's on the car, but it's doable. And then you just pull this out like that with the screwdriver. So hopefully that helps kind of demonstrate how to remove the ball joint from the upper control arm without removing the upper control arm from the car. And since I'm already here, I'm gonna show the new ball joints that I'm installing. So these are adjustable ball joints from SPC Racing, or SPC, and there's the adjustability right there. And it's supposed to give you 1.5 of positive or negative camber depending on what you need. Next is the other retaining clip. And there you have it, guys. Little retaining clip keeping the ball joint in place with the upper control arm. Now to get your ball joint removal tool in place, shit. And there's our ball joint out of the upper control arm. Okay, so after removing your ball joint, in order to install it, I'm going to, I guess, kind of shave the edge of this upper control arm right here. Because what happens is when you install your ball joint, since it doesn't pop in place, it tightens down with a nut. Like on this side. See, it uses a nut to tighten down instead of popping in place. But what happens is when you tighten down, this starts to touch the edge of the control arm, so you have to cut off or shave off some, I don't know, like a 1/4 inch off, like I did here, in order to be able to install it. Because once you tighten down, this starts closing the gap right there, and if you don't shave that off, you ain't gonna be able to tighten down like you're supposed to. So I'm just gonna draw a line with marker where I want to cut off, so I don't really overdo it. And you want to shave down so that it's flush with this right here, but you don't want to hit this with your grinder or whatever tool that you're going to use, just the outside edge. So there's the line I drew, and that's kind of where I'm just going to use a cut off wheel to cut that down, and you'll see what I mean here in a bit. Okay, so I got my cut off tool right here, and as you can see, I got some tape in place to kind of protect that in case I miss. Alright guys, so after you finish grinding down the edge of your upper control arm, you want to make sure, you want to pull it down a bit. You make sure that it's flush, like I have it here, with this inside ring or hole where the ball joint sits. As you can see, I got it near flush, pretty close. So yeah, I think that's pretty good. So I'm just gonna leave it like that. And then what I did is I just took a file to it like this, along the edge right here, just to knock some of the burrs off that the grinding caused, like that. I already did that, so I won't demonstrate, but yeah, just smooth it down a bit. And then your last step here, just get some spray paint and just shoot some spray paint up in there to avoid some future rust. I just got Rust-Oleum. Just like that, it doesn't have to be perfect. So before I start installing the ball joint, I just want to point out that the issue with installing the new adjustable ball joint is that it doesn't get popped into place like this OEM one. It's actually secured with a nut and washer at the top. And the problem with that is when you go to install your ball joint in through here, and you want to tighten down at the top with a socket and ratchet, you're not going to be able to get a socket and ratchet up in there because of your clearance, because your upper control arm naturally gets pushed up. And as you can see, if I go back a bit, it's pretty much above the wheel well or the fender right here, so there's no way you're going to be able to get a ratchet in there, let alone a torque wrench so you could torque it down. So what we're going to do here, and you don't have to remove the upper control arm completely, but we're going to loosen that bolt over there for the upper control arm, and that one over there. And what that allows, we're only going to loosen them. We're not going to take them completely off. And what that allows us to do is be able to rotate or swing the upper control arm down so that we can have enough clearance to get ratchet up in there. So yeah, let's do this. Now I have here an extended reach ratcheting wrench with a flex head, and it's a 14 millimeter right there. So I'm gonna use this end, and it's about 15 inches long, which is perfect for this job. I can just get up in there. Alright guys, so I loosened this one over here, right there, and only slightly loosened that one. And that's going to allow us to swing this down like this, and that's what you want. You don't have to take the whole upper control arm off, just enough to be able to get a tool like this so you can tighten it down. So try to do your best and keep everything the same way that it comes off. That's how you're going to put it back on. So you got your 27 millimeter nut with a shoulder, with that right there, or washer, and then our adjusting washer, and then that's how it's going to go on the car. Now to get the camber adjustment that I want, I'm going to have to pull the adjustable ball joint all the way out this way to be able to correct the inside wheel or inside tire wear. And you also want to make sure that it's as straight as possible, because it does rotate around like that. So straighten out as much as possible while pulling it this way, and then you're going to tighten it down. And this gets torqued down to 120 pound-feet of torque. I'm going to tighten it with a ratchet and then come back with a torque wrench and tighten it down. And as you can see, it's starting to hit right here at the edge of the control arm, so I'm going to have to loosen it back up and readjust it so that it's not hitting the corner right here. Right there. Alright guys, so I got my torque wrench at 120 pound-feet of torque, my 27mm socket, and now I'm ready to torque down. And there you go, 120 pound-feet of torque. And you can see the reason why we shaved down the edge of our control arm, because when you tighten down, eventually the gap starts to close, and if we wouldn't have shaved it off, the adjustable part of the ball joint would have started touching, wouldn't have allowed us to torque down how we should. So now we're ready to tighten our control arm back up and connect our ball joint to the knuckle, and we're good to go from there. Control arm, upper control arm bolts back up. Release our knuckle from the bungee cord. And bring our control arm down to install it into the knuckle. Put a castle nut in. And then we're going to torque that down to 45 pound-feet of torque. And now to put our wheel back on and take it off the jack stands and drop it down and go for a test drive. Alright guys, so I don't know if you guys can tell, but already I can see a difference in the ball joint installation. As you can see, the top of the tire is sticking out of the fender, when before it was flush with it, so it did help a little bit, not much, but I definitely noticed a change. So I'm gonna go for a test drive and we'll see how it feels.